Welcome back to Nightingale's Motorcycle Restorers and Metal Finishers. If you're new to the channel, we're based in Scarborough, North Yorkshire. 01723 370 399. We carry out motorcycle restoration, usually classic stuff, 70s, 80s, Japanese, soda blasting, walnut blasting, fine, ultra fine media blasting, aqua vapor blasting, cannons polishing, professional polishing, and a lot more other things in a fully equipped workshop. But today it's a topic I've been going to get back onto because I don't get asked really for the person who's watching the YouTube channels. It's customers who are at a point where they've got a machine either for cosmetically pleasing with a ceramic coating, either wheels or colours, or having an exhaust done. And then we move on to the more technical kind of guys, race guys, in the field of motocross, air-cooled, water-cooled, but mainly the racing guys who are coming through the ranks of tuning big old Jigsaw Suzukis, or your classic TZs, big Suzukis. You know, what they had problems with the first time round, we might be able to just take the longevity side out with specialist ceramic coating. So that's the kind of customer. So I'll tell you a bit about it and what we actually get up to in the workshop. So you may hear me going on about getting oil away. When I mean getting oil away, I'm looking for talking in words of movement, oil flow around the engines, not only around pistons, just circulating, just helping everything, because it's like ceramic. So you will hear me go on about that, and that's what I mean when I say oil flow. I will go at one point, you'll hear about glyptal. Glyptal was another an insulation enamel originally, and I do talk about it on one of my bikes again many years ago. But that was a specialist coating, and that was first, I read that when engine blocks on the big Indy cars were on the circuits, and at one point they kept on getting rods blowing up and everything, and they were convinced at one point that it was pump starvation, oil pump starvation, or foaming. We're talking, you know, 200-mile-an-hour embankments. And so what they started doing is they started using source of glyptal, which is, you know, equivalent to some of the modern specialist coatings we have. And what they were reckoning was that the faster they can get it down the block and coming back round for oil movement, if that's what I'm on about. And that first started, so that's about 35 years ago. But that was one of the reasons, a glyptal product as well. And I've been using it, as I will talk in the video. So a little bit of knowledge on that product, but that's what it was actually for. IndyCar, they were convinced it was some kind of oil starvation. I've actually put this, like I do with the specialist coatings, on 2 pieces of steel, and you spray it. Spray one and leave one just raw substrate. Put oil at the top of one, oil at the top of an oil can, and see how it runs down straight away. So yeah, just an interesting product from the past, but still a lot of old school guys using that if they are into some of this. So this won't appeal to everybody. Again, it's the man. Let's just take a classic race bike, be it a track road race bike or a motocross bike. So when we go for longevity, what we're saying is we'll go to the road race guys who've rebuilt their engines, and because parts are getting so expensive for these bikes and sourcing them, then they've had them on rolling roads. We know the stock faults they used to have, but now we've got to a point where we think by coating pistons, crankshaft, rods, cylinder heads, valve stems, valve heads, but we'll go on to piston coating first. So let me just tell you what I spray with ceramic coating and how we do it. So you'll have seen, maybe you've had a piston delivered for even from a 50cc up to a 1000cc, and they come with a kind of shadow coating on the side. Now some of these are just a fake coating, they're not a specialised ceramic coating. So really we'll start with the piston sidewall first. So when you ceramic coat anything, we use a product usually called a micro slick. It'll be something slick. right? And the idea is we're prepping this piston, be it new or second-hand piston, through, we won't say blasting, it's surface preparation, right? Because the thought of you there with your pistons having them, someone in a blast cabinet or scratching them with the wrong sandpaper, we need some adhesion to the substrate. So we put new fine, ultra fine media in a tank, dry obviously, and we prep the surfaces, the top, the side and the inside, to accept a ceramic coating. We've acetone out, we're gassing out then in an oven to make sure if it was second hand it may have some residue of oil. So we have to get the substrate perfectly gassed out and cleaned professionally and prepared ready for painting. So the first step is preparing for either a top coat or a side coat. So what I've done, I've taken this piston back, ready for one before, one after, ready for prepping, prepped up, gassed out, ready for taking paint. So when we say microslick, now you may see on some versions, because there's so many ceramic coatings, you may find that some are air cure or oven cure. Now what this does is, if you're into a lot of piston turnaround or camshafts or rods, anything, which you're having a specialist coating on, you'll probably find that the oven cure will be obviously a time to get it out in an hour or so. You've cured the top half, then you can take the tapes off and start on the second half, cure it. And really they could be back in the box to the customer on a 24-hour turnaround. Now what I seem to do, or prefer to do, because I'm bouncing from so many different things in the workshop, and remember that this side of the business for us, or myself personally, is only like 3 or 4%, because it's a specialist field. You don't just decide to have it. It's something you've thought it might help and assist the machine for longevity. So once we start spraying these, we're spraying these, I do them on an oval deck. We're spraying at about 28-30 psi with a fan pan, and we're spraying to 1 mil, thousandths of an inch. So you're 25 micron, something like that. And the idea is that when I do them on air cure, I leave them 24 hours, and then we just burnish them on the sides only, not the top, the sides. We just burnish them with a 0-0 wire wool. Now that's not to get any inclusions out, because the thing is with ceramic coating or quality painting, we don't get inclusions, because we're going through a clean room, we're going through filters from 325 mesh, we're not even on paper cups, immaculate guns, everything's spot on, fresh paint, immaculate media is the most important. We've been our media, you've seen in many videos, everything's got to be clean, and the process of it gassing out. So once we've sprayed it to that coating, then we'll just burnish it very slightly, right? You don't notice any effect probably on the overall finish of it, and that's microslick. So when we start looking at, you can work out things and say what it does, but my main ones are that we're reducing friction, which is a great thing, porosity, and the main thing is it's a dry film lube, right? So again, it could be just at that stage where it's going to nip and it saves it, or we're just looking at it overall. Some people even take them out and have a look at them on the bore and see how it's actually wearing. That's another thing. Now, nothing lasts forever. It does wear out. If we had that magic formula, we'd never read bores and pistons. It's a specialist coating, friction coating, to disperse oil. So I'll go on to the top coat now and tell you what the top coat does. So the top coat, we usually spray this to 2 mil, 0.002 of an inch, 50 microns. When you think of human hair, it's 80 microns. So we get asked a question on this all the time, how do you get your readings? Well, we're spraying in a pattern. There's different ways you can hang all things down. We do it on a turn, I do it on a turnstile, and I get to know my overlap. But because I've been in the paint industry for over 35 years, specialising in multi-million pound spray plants for inclusion fault finding for some of the biggest names in the motor industry. So we're talking mega plants with abatement systems worth £500,000, robots at £1 million each, and the electronics and dehumidifiers and everything upstairs like a football pitch. So it'll give you some idea of expanse, mass production, big car plants. So what we're saying is when we spray these now, this top coat, we're coming back to what this actually does. Now, what you'll hear people say on these top coats, now it's different because if you watch some of the American sites, different people use it under different words, but our main thing is it's deflecting the heat away from it, so it's not going in the cone. We've got a micro slick on the side, so we also coat this on the valves, the valve heads, which I do. You might have seen on some of my TLR 200 valves I coat up, and then I coat the stems. I might have some here. I coat the valve heads with the same top coating, a piston coating, and then I do a micro slick on the actual valve stem for efficiency, friction, getting it away as well. But that's the top coat. So when the top coat, they're usually in a bronze or a yellow. These are different coloured depending which ceramic coating you're using, but it's all for maintaining the heat into this area and absorbing it, just keeping it in that part, and it's proven it works, and we know that. So what we're trying to do is, again, the lads who, if they're on the rolling roads and everything, it's longevity, and also for people who are stripping them down regular, it does start to tell a tale. I have a particular model of going off race machines, road racing machines, classic machines, where we've got a lot of two-stroke early Yamahas, water cooled, and they all seem to suffer from like a cold seizure, and by coating the external the piston sidewalls with a micro slick, it's fantastic, because again, depending on the type of seizure you have, it's expensive to get repaired. So we'll move off pistons and coating, and I'll tell you what we do onto camshafts next. So this is a Kent cam, so a race cam. So what we're going to actually do with this is spray the lobes on this, again with a friction oil dispersant, sprayed again and then taken back with a 00 wire wool, just to perfect it. But common thing, loads of camshafts I do. The camshafts I do even on my little TLR 200 heads, when I fit the double bearings, I always do the cam with a micro slick, the valve heads again with an heat dispersant, and the stems, even do the valve springs with it, oil dispersant, get it away. So yeah, so that's what we're up to. Years ago, you know, the glyptal, I used to use glyptal a hell of a lot, and I still do, because it's an insulation enamel. It's about 90 quid a tin though, and I used to use and seen it used. I mean, the first time I ever used it was on a 504 Honda, and I used it on the internal of the casings of it, inside the crankcases, and it was to get, we were convinced it was oil flow as well, because this bike, it was when the days of Yoshimura was around and more prominent, and went to Earl's Court, got a Yoshimura cam, different ignition system, Yoshimura 4-into-1. We bought the bike out to some ridiculous amount, and it ended up with aluminium pistons in it, I think. A very good engineer I knew at the time, and it's gone round in a full circle, because now that series again, that was a converted road bike, that series is big time now, so we won't be using glyptal. Glyptal, I still use it on if I've got a water pump housing and it's heavily eroded. This seems to be more on the trials bike side, and the magnesium and everything's got in it, and it's just got bullet holes in it. I repair it, then coat it with glyptal, and it's a fantastic coating. I mean, I'd coat it now with a ceramic coating, but that product has been around here. It's about 90 quid a tin, that. So we'll move on to the next thing, which is radiators. So if you've not fallen asleep yet and you're still as excited as I am, when I say radiators, it can be anything. We're trying to get the heat away. So one fantastic product. It's a transfer grey. Now it can be XL grey or transfer grey. So it's an air cure, that one. And we spray the radiators with it and it gets the heat dispersant away from it. It's fantastic. It does work, oil coolers, radiators, especially on the race side. But what I also do is I do a lot of rocker covers with it. On my heads I build on the TL, it might only be a TLR 200 trials bike. We've got a new cam in it with double bearings on. And I do that heat transfer to that to get it away. You might say, why on a TLR 200? But why not? It's longevity. And it's a good colour as well. It's like a slate colour. And again, radiators painted in that. So the next thing we'll go on to is the crankshafts. The crankshafts are just go on. Here's one what's literally shit itself and gone in half. So what I tend to do on these, I do all the lobes, everything with a micro slick, because we're trying to get the oil away. Again, it's like Teflon, it goes off it. The rods, all the rods are done it in a micro slick. Again, if you're doing it and you're building something up from the cam, pistons, crankshaft, it's all part of it for longevity. As I say, this talk now has gone past rolling roads, as I say. Occasionally we get the odd silly question, but I think it's more the unknown, where we'll get somebody come in, for some reason it seems to be on the old British bikes, and they say, you know, you've got this special coating for pistons and it's rattling and smoking or whatever. It's not a rebar, it's a specialised coating, Teflon coating for prevention and friction removal, getting things away. The amount of specialist coatings, you know, we have is, but the main three are the top coating, which we use, which we have as titanium piston coat red. I've got a yellow in this as well with another company in ceramic coating. I use this a lot, titanium red piston top coat, and then we go transfer grey, and then we go back to micro slicks, which is like your black side coating. So the last thing we're going to move on to in specialist coatings are, I think what we're up against now is people ask us as well, especially on the more technical side, is when you spray into 1 mil, thousandths of an inch, how we actually get there. Well, you do get to know your passes, you do get to know where your starting point is, the pressure of your gun, the fan pattern nozzle, but then you can read it with a wet film thickness gauge, which we do, a meter, digital meter. I do also do the car, road race and track, like your motocross bikes. We're also into some other fields of coatings in robotic hands, and also submarine type work, aviation work, or your Arctic trawler types, specialist coatings, icebreakers. So it's not just for race engines, it's the conversation I have with race engine people, especially on that classic machine where while it's down, why not have it done and you know, have the longevity side to it. I like to look at everything when we take stuff down which has been coated in it, and it tells a story. Even these wheels we do, this was a rusty wheel of a motocross wheel, and instead of taking your full wheel down, because usually I'm just ceramic coating the centre up, with ceramic coating it, and you look up close at that finish, that's been on about 5 years. You know, it's a lovely finish. The great thing about it is as well, you can still adjust. I usually get these in, I true them up first in machine, and then a ceramic cup, again go through the procedure, you know, acetone, blasting, gassing out, check the spokes. When you paint these, you can still adjust your spoke nipples as well. So it's a great get out of jail card this on the motocross scene, or the custom bobber lads. The other thing you've got to remember, it's 625C up, you've got petrol resistant, brake fluid resistant, water just runs off it, obviously because it's a Teflon. This isn't the same as you'd have on your piston skirts, but it's a fantastic for some wheels to get done in it. You can go on then. I mean, the fantastic thing about ceramic coating is that they do some really good clear coats. Now the clear coats are specialist UV clear coats, so when you clear coat with a ceramic clear coat, I've done some really weird tests on them. You know, I put parts on the roof, see if I get any blooming, blistering, shaling like you see, and it just sticks to it. We do a lot of modern frames, bespoke frames where you see all the nice braze welding, and we clear coat them either in a matte satin or eye gloss, and it highlights them, and plus it's a protection and it's such an hard finish. So that's a bit on piston coating. Obviously we've just touched on the techie side a little bit. A lot of barrels we do because obviously it's, you know, it's fit for purpose. A lot of race exhausts in the light, they're just off flat looking in ceramic coating because it's such an hard finish. It's there to last and it stands the temperature. So again, we're based in Scarborough, North Yorkshire. I'm not going to paint any of these up to show you because you've seen pictures of things once painted. It's really just to tell you how deep we go into this. Don't usually do this video because it's only for a small kind of repeat business to my customers who are always stripping down, but never more than the classic bike road race scene now. I'm getting all types of stuff through. The last thing I would say I've just had through, and I do this on even our little TLRs. You never stop learning, obviously, but I've noticed that some of the race engines as well, and people have come into me where this is a typical example when you've got your early TLR 200, and I've gone on about it before, and it comes up with the cough, and the way it splutters and dries out. Well, it's no different on any float balls. When you've got the transfer of heat coming from, obviously, the cylinder head to the bowl, so we're coating this in the same top coat as a piston to retain it, so it's keeping the heat away from the bowl and the fuel from drying out. Hence you could be riding and you start to get a cough, and red hot day, red hot machine, tuned to its limits, and we're finding that by coating the float balls, because we've done temperature readings on the top half of the carburetor to the bottom half of the carburetor under all kinds of tests, and if you're trying to disperse it, stop it getting into it, it's fantastic. So it works for us, and we can turn these round a set of float balls in 24 hours and run them back out. Again, it's all about them things when you get people in over the years talking to you, the race guys. Again, this series of classic bikes is getting bigger and bigger, and a lot more guys coming in. And while you're doing it, why not do it? If it eliminates one little problem and keeps the bike longevity going, I'd go for it. But till the next one, appreciate you watching it and your comments. And if you want to speak to me direct, you can get me on the 01723 370 399, usually after 3 o'clock when we wind down the machinery, and I can get in the office and speak to people individually. If not, send me an email. We'll always get back to you on any of the processes or restoration in our workshops, and see you on the next one. Thank you very much for watching.